Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar with GolfSpace. My name is Emily. I'm the Senior Campaign Lead here at Birchal. And just before I introduce you to the team, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that I'm coming to you from today. Birchal is based on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. Today, I'm joined by Dan, Dean, and Francis from GolfSpace. Birchal is working with the GolfSpace team on their upcoming crowdsource funding offer. Some of you might be a little bit unfamiliar with what equity crowdfunding is, crowdsource funding or CSF, but it's a relatively new form of fundraising in Australia, which allows small businesses or startups to raise capital from a number of smaller or retail investors, as well as wholesale or sophisticated investors through an online platform such as Birchal. So instead of seeking funding from traditional sources such as banks or venture capitalists, companies can turn to the general public, and often that's their communities, to raise money in exchange for equity in their business. Birchal Financial Services is the licensed intermediary for the offer, and I do just want to remind everybody who is on the webinar today that the information and discussion is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as financial advice or a recommendation to invest. So please do your own research, and if you do have any questions, please head to birchal.com. Always consider the general CSF risk warning and offer document before investing. Now, how today's session is going to run: the team over at GolfSpace is going to take us through a great presentation, which will be approximately 20 minutes long, all about GolfSpace, where they've come from, and what they're looking to achieve with this capital raise. We'll then switch to a Q&A session. So if you look at the bottom of your Zoom screen, there is a Q&A bubble. So if you've got any questions in the middle of the session, please pop your questions in there and we'll get to them at the end. We're also recording today's session, so if you do have to jump off early, a recording will be sent around. So without further ado, I will hand over to the team.
Thanks, Emily. Thank you, everybody. Big thank you to everybody who has expressed interest so far in the GolfSpace investment opportunity. It means a lot. It really does. This is a really exciting time for us, and excited to take you through this presentation. As Emily said, probably 15 minutes or so we'll take you through, and then we can dive straight into the questions.
Yep.
So yeah, and just introduce Francis, who's to my side here, is our CMO, and
G'day, everyone.
Dan, who will answer some questions as well, is our general manager, who will join in with some questions at the end. So let's dive in. So the agenda will take you through what the concept, the problem, and the solution that we found to this problem with indoor golf, where the market is, what traction that we've had, who is the team, and then a summary of the investment opportunity. We are on a mission. We want to expand the brand. We want to launch beautifully designed indoor clubs that blend both performance and entertainment. And that's what I want to take you through in this presentation as to what that gap we found. So we're two and a bit years in.
Yep.
We've built Australia's premier indoor golf club. We've nearly hit 500 members, circa 4 million in revenue since we started. And we really are, as you would have seen from the pitch video, we've really got a thriving community now, and the membership at peak times is really busting at the seams. So that's positions us right now as a really compelling investment opportunity to go to the next level. With the capital raise, we're really clear on what we're looking to do. 2 milestones. Number 1, to complete the mezzanine expansion at GolfSpace Alexandria, and then number 2, to launch our super premium club, GolfSpace Black, which I can't wait to get in and show you a little bit more. What's missing is, when I did the research back in 2021, I've got a huge passion for golf, and I used to have a simulator in my recruitment office. And what I noticed as I was using it to improve my own game, but also to bring clients and friends for entertainment, that one club and one space could do everything. It could do both performance, using the golf technology to allow people to use it to get better. And on the flip side, we can use it as an entertainment tool for groups and for social interaction and fun. And the whole reason I thought was just create one space where you could practice, learn, play, and entertain all in one space. The gap was that on one side, you have performance-only venues. Typically, they would be set up by PGA coaches and from the golf industry, and they would focus really a lot on lessons, practice, but really didn't have that atmosphere or design. And that type of venue would struggle to attract or retain members. And on the other side, you've got entertainment only venues that were
Good fun.
yeah, good fun,
Yeah.
but less about, well, not as authentically golf, as one would say, and some of the PGA coaches would avoid, and people would just say, it's not really there. So there's a huge gap in the middle. And that was the space that golf's been missing, and that's why we named it GolfSpace, which we'll come on to more a bit later. But the concept for GolfSpace was, let's design a golf club that could do everything under one roof, with great PGA coaching, amazing programs so people could truly elevate their game, create a membership club that would have this really sticky, attractive membership that people would want to be a member of. And also to wrap that up in beautifully designed space that people would want to come back and use the space over and over. I use this term a lot, that there's this concept where the first space is where you live, the second space is where you work, and the third space is where you frequent and your passion. And that's why we called it GolfSpace, was a space for golfers to really enhance into that passion. If you've seen the venue, if you've been to the venue, then you would have noticed that we've got an 8-lane driving range. We've got 12 premium simulator bays, and we have the space upstairs on our mezzanine to create a simulator lounge so that you can come, as we said, for group entertainment, to come and practice and learn with our PGA coaches, or use the technology to improve your own game.
So what's really interesting is that I'm Francis. I've been overseeing the marketing communications with Dean and Dan and the team. One thing we've really focused on is creating an emotional connection with the audience. We've spent a lot of time talking to you guys, some of you anyway, and really listening to you and finding out actually what you want. So that's been probably our biggest single driver. What we've landed on, I hope you don't mind, some of you who actually are members, is that our audience are kind of described as the aspirers. Their mindset is really about improvement of their game. You guys love your technology. You're definitely time poor, but you have a deep passion for things which look good and actually function well. So that was one of the first parts of the mindset. The demographics, general income is kind of middle to upper income brackets, inner city and in that sort of inner city location generally. And we have a split 75-25 male female. However, we're making a massive drive this back half of the year into Q1. And this is an emerging play as well for the whole golf industry to really drive female engagement. And we're seeing that through the club right now.
Huge.
Skill level. This is what's really interesting. Our skill level, initially we thought it was all about kind of an advanced player. And obviously if you just have an advanced player, you're capped in your growth capacity, really. What we've found is that 10% are brand new to golf, literally brand new, never seen or played the game before. Our core audience in the middle is between beginner and intermediate, 35 and 50% respectively. And only a very small level is what we call advanced, which is, competition level players. Now they come in, but generally they're our coaches, our PGA coaches, and they're elite players. And the final area is, and which I've touched on before, is we are focused weekly on emerging trends. We've seen that family is a big uptake, both father and children and mother and children coming along in a safe environment to learn the sport. Also out of weather conditioned spaces. And obviously we've touched on women and girls growing as well. The market size is enormous. Overseas is expanding in a really rapid way. The total, what we call a total addressable market, is sitting at just over 88 billion as a global play here. The serviceable market in the sim space, particularly in the TrackMan and high technology space for sim engagement, is around 1.7 billion. And there's about $300 million just within Australia that's attributed to our industry, which is the indoor golf space. And our main opportunity here and our core focus is to be the single dominant player in the premium indoor market. The other thing also is that it's pretty astounding that Golf Australia released a report that 3.5 million Australians played the game last year. So it's beginning to truly explode as a holistic sport across the landscape of all sports in Australia, and GolfSpace is supporting that growth.
Interesting to note that what we call off-course golf and on-course golf, off-course golf has now eclipsed participation rates of on-course golf,
which is amazing.
And the recent report from Golf Australia now signals what the indoor golf market is actually doing to contribute to on-course golf,
Yeah.
which is immense. We look at the competitor analysis of both locally and internationally, and this is a local landscape of where we see our competition. On the right-hand side, on the luxury design and top line performance and entertainment only, we see a real gap in where we are sitting, which is on that performance entertainment line, but really in that luxury and premium space. That's what we really want to take on. Where are we now? Our memberships have really gone very strong, and we've gone from around 200 members to 500 members that we are now. That equates to around 92,000 monthly recurring revenue that we're really pleased. That's eclipsing over a million a year now in memberships. The growth of our membership, we sort of cracked the code. We launched our campaign in March, which we went from GolfSpace Love Your Game to GolfSpace Elevate Your Game. We surveyed our audience of about 12,500, and we asked how much of our audience actually wants to get better at golf and improve and elevate your game, and how many just come to indoor golf for fun. 95% of that audience said they want to improve their game. We had close to 2,000 responses. So
Yeah, in a lovely environment.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting is that we made a really concerted effort to change the business model from being a PAYG experience, kind of one-off couple of times a year, to a core focus of a membership-based venue. And that's the entire sort of seismic change of the approach to the business. You know, we've literally gone straight to a membership base and really fostered that community environment.
But the good point on that is that our membership revenue still always represents around 50% of the revenue model. What we love about GolfSpace, it's the revenue mix that actually makes up a full club. So we've actually got, we talked about our memberships, casual visits, PAYG. So that's booking a simulator for one player up to 4 players. Group visits, groups and events is huge for us.
Yeah.
When we hit our next milestone, which is to expand the mezzanine level here, that will open up more group and events, certainly in that corporate event area, which is huge.
Yeah, we haven't really, we've just touched the iceberg on that corporate space. We've obviously had some very big partnerships with some major corporates already, but yeah.
Organically, lots of interest, lots of group bookings, but that's without having a dedicated business development leader on that. So we've got PGA coaching and programs on there in our bar and retail. So that makes up the total revenue pool.
Yep.
So as we move into the milestone, so what's really exciting now is that we're very clear on what our growth strategy is. This raise with Birchal, the funds will be used for milestone 1 and 2. We've talked why now. That is because we've really at that capacity and we want to fully realize, and we can go through what our future milestones are as well. Milestone 1.
Super exciting.
Yeah, if you've been to GolfSpace Alexandria, you will have noticed that we have a mezzanine level of around 400 square meters upstairs. We did a survey again to the audience. We always like to ask, what would you like, rather than we just say, this is what we're doing. We asked the audience, what would you like? And the response came unanimously that we would love to see 6 more additional simulators.
Beautiful environment.
Beautiful, yeah, in Champagne Bar.
Yep.
So that will take, they're more social, as you will see on the architect's visualization here. It's whiskey champagne bar. The simulator bays are much more social and open. So you've really got this new space to actually take as a whole booking for an event.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And elevate the game. And also this space, obviously, once again, just leaning on this, is the revenue generated from corporate will be substantial, outside, above and beyond PAYG, and obviously our core revenue driver, which is membership. Yeah.
So that would give the club 18 simulator bays and 8-lane driving range. So it's 1,568 square meters of space. It's a significant size of a club.
And it takes our membership base, which is really getting quite compressed at the moment. That's why we need to obviously raise the capital to grow. It gives us an extra 250 members, potential space, and potential income as well around that. Yeah.
Milestone 2, this is super exciting. This is GolfSpace Black, is our super premium club in the CBD, in the heart of the CBD, in the finest buildings. This is a members club, beautiful simulator bays, world-class amenities, always on PGA coaching. We're based in the CBD. we're not sure whether it would be Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane yet.
yeah.
We're just looking at property plays here.
Quite a
This
few
is-
options.
Yeah, this is like, if you like Soho House meets St. Haven locker room gym, it's that concept. It's for the busy city professionals, the golf club's premium nature here. And we see this as a fantastic opportunity for those people that want to network and be part of a premium golf club in the CBD.
Yeah.
And that's part of what we believe our brand is. It's really focused on the luxury, performance and entertainment side of the market. And each club that we design will cater for that different audience. The future milestones, once we've raised the capital and we can hit our maximum, we're going to do milestone 1 and 2, which we talked about. And then we'll look to replicate and scale the GolfSpace golf clubs, both nationally and internationally. One thing I get asked a lot is, well, what separates you from any other competitor to come into the market and replicate what you're doing? So one of the innovations that we brought in is we've just signed a collaboration with the University of Technology, Sydney, with their Human Performance Research Centre, which we're super proud.
excited, yeah.
Really. So what this is to do groundbreaking golf innovation research into golf performance. What does that mean? Does on-course virtual golf indoor practice genuinely and actually help you perform out on the golf course?
Yeah, and it's actually never been done in Australia. Is that right?
Nobody
That
does
research
worldwide.
actually hasn't been done worldwide. Yeah, so
Because we're still new into the technologies. People are still questioning how accurate is it? How accurate is virtual golf? It's extremely accurate. As we put Bonnie Doon, which is the local club that I'm a member of,
yeah,
to prove this point that practicing on-course scenarios is going to dramatically change the way that golf players playing golf can practice and get better. And on the back of that, our education programs will come off the back of that, which are mini and micro courses to help people really understand where they game.
deepen the understanding of the TrackMan technology and broader technologies.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take any questions at the end on that.
Yeah, bit of a team. We've got a potent combination of team members, don't we, Dean? You want to talk through that a little bit?
Yeah. So we've mentioned we got Dan Field-Reed, who's our general manager. He's helping to lead the club from day-to-day operations. Francis leading all marketing comms, and we've really elevated our game in terms of marketing communications. Nicola is leading our R&D and innovation there. So
Working with UTS as well.
I mentioned since the day we started, we've been getting government incentive for the research innovation, which is why the UTS were very interested to come on board with us. Dave, who's head of our finance, and our PGA coaching team is really strong.
Yeah.
So we've got a head professional here at Alexandria, which is Charles Torres, and we've got Kerrod, who really looks at golf content globally. Yeah. We've got some cracking key relationships with industry leaders. Obviously, TrackMan is the technology that we use. We're really in with Golf New South Wales and Golf Australia. And we just signed the charter with Golf New South Wales for growing women and girls in sport.
Yeah.
So to wrap up, I'm happy to take questions. There really was until now, the golf market has lacked that venue that seamlessly can blend both performance and entertainment. The solution was GolfSpace, where you can do everything in one space under one roof. The market is huge. We've got great traction and we have a really good, strong growth potential that we've proven that model and a great team to execute. And our aim, as we said earlier, is to be the single dominant player in the premium indoor golf market. And we were open to questions.
Thank you guys so much for that. If I could ask you to just put the stop sharing your screen so we can see your faces, that would be amazing. We've already had a huge influx of questions, which is great. So for this raise, how much are you looking to raise and how much would you be spending on the mezzanine expansion and GolfSpace Black respectively?
Yeah, great question. So we are looking to raise 2.25 million. We will do milestone 1, which is the mezzanine level. We'll spend around 650,000 to complete the mezzanine expansion at GolfSpace Alexandria. And if we hit our maximum subscription, we'll be able to do both GolfSpace Black launch and the mezzanine expansion, some capital upgrades to downstairs as well. We're working on a new app for our education and booking system as well. So,
and the GolfSpace Black is circa about $1 million capex, give or take, a bit less. and the leftover is the marketing and the drive across both venues, and then research into the third, fourth, fifth venue as well.
Brilliant. Thank you. So what is the current fill rate at peak times?
Dan, do you want to?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Emily. Across peak periods, which we define for the business as weekdays from 5 p.m. till close, which is 10 p.m. And then all day Saturday, all day Sunday, we're looking at about a 92 to 93% utilization rate in our simulator bays. And our driving range is steady, but I don't have a figure for you on that. I can certainly come back to that, but certainly during the peak times, we are very much at capacity.
Yeah.
Great. This kind of leads on to the next question. So some people might have noticed that over the past year or so at the Alexandria space, there aren't a lot of parks. Can you manage this going forward with the influx of members?
Yeah, it's actually a really good question. We're going to do some education on where you can park outside of the area. We haven't done that. It sounds very boring marketing, but we're actually going to send out marketing materials that show you. I actually don't park close by. I park very close, but it's just a street over where you can park for 2 hours. So it's a great question. We're going to do some education on where you can park around the space. We're looking down through right now the car space of what, 200, 150 spots there, give or take. But yeah, we are going to do some education on that and let you know that there are spots in the streets surrounding location, which is a great question.
Great, thank you. So besides the premium space option in the city, are you going to have the option for casual visits there for 30 minutes or so just to hit some balls?
Not for GolfSpace Black. That's going to be a members club in the CBD, and that's for the busy professionals and executives to use that one there. We don't see that as a casual go and hit, but in terms of weekends, there will be events that can happen on a weekend at GolfSpace Black. Yeah, for events, corporate events.
Great, good to know. So those who are members at GolfSpace Black, would they be able to store their golf clubs there, or would they be expected to bring them back and forth?
100%. There will be all of the luxury amenities that you would expect at a premium golf club. So you would have your own locker. You'd be able to keep your golf clubs there, but we'll also host all of the top brands and golf clubs that you could use as well for the always on PGA coaching and your practice and play sessions. Yeah.
So if you forget your clubs, we'll have them there for you.
Yeah.
Not shoes, maybe. I don't think shoes.
This isn't a bowling alley. I'm sure that people would understand that one. So is the business currently profitable pre-expansion?
Yeah, good question. So up to June 30, FY24, it's at the break-even point. What we've done now in the last 6 months has been this biggest transition. So since March, when we launched Elevate Your Game and our membership just grew like this, then since the last 6 months, our revenue has changed. And since this Q1 of FY25, July, August, September has been our biggest performing quarter. So we're in a run right now of just breaking into the profit, which is really exciting.
Great. So based off the funding for this mezzanine project, how long would you take for this to be implemented and for the mezzanine level to be ready to use?
Yeah, another great question. We've got the design. We've worked with our architects for the design up here. There's a few things that we need to do in terms of base build, so like the air conditioning and flooring, etc. We would hope to be, I don't want to put a time frame on it, but it would be early next year, Q1 next year.
Yeah, back end. Yeah.
Great.
If the air conditioning works, because we know how important air conditioning is. So yeah, that's our number one priority.
Yeah.
But yeah, the design work has all been done, which is great.
Design work is underway. This is what we want to do, is expand this immediately and give our members and the people that are using GolfSpace Alexandria here the opportunity to experience the simulator lounge up here. And that will be our first project to get that straight off.
Great.
Yep.
So with traditional golf courses having a limitation on number of members that they can take in based on capacity, availability, etc., what's your view on the maximum number of memberships based on the current facilities before the mezzanine expansion, and how this will change post mezzanine expansion?
Dan, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Emily. Looking at our current capacity and how we're coping with the demand at peak times, we believe that 6 additional simulators could represent a 50% increase in our total membership that we could sustain. So if we're at about 500 now, we believe that we're looking at a total capacity of 750 members across our 3 tiers of practice, elevate, and academy. To give you an idea of the kind of breakdown of what we currently have in those categories, we've got approximately 200 in both practice and elevate. And then we've got an additional about 40 to 45 in academy. And then there's a few historic memberships that are still active from our very first members from day one that we still want to take care of as well.
Great, thank you. So how many staff do you currently need to run the venue?
I'll go again on that one. We currently can staff the venue single staffed during off-peak times, and we utilize 2 staff members during peak times. There is increased demand when we have corporate events. We would, for a full facility event, staff it with 4 staff members. We believe that once the mezzanine level is operational, we would need to have an additional staff member on at all times, just to manage appropriate levels of customer service across the space. It is a big space, so making sure that we've got someone available to help with any queries at all times is going to be important.
Thank you. So what retention rate are you seeing currently with your membership group?
Great question.
Yeah, you got it.
Dan, it's yours. It's one of the.
I'm on a roll. Yeah, so what was been really pleasing is, so across the first, I'd say 18 months that we were operating, we had a churn rate in terms of our membership of below 3%. As has been mentioned, in March this year, we undertook a pretty big membership campaign, and we to really grow the membership and maximize the potential of the venue. And as we more than doubled our membership, our churn rate stayed exactly the same, 2.7, 2.8%. The venue is definitely feeling that it's at capacity, and you can see that through the available inventory. But the most pleasing thing for us, and I suppose for me and my team, is that across this big influx of membership, the churn rate has stayed incredibly consistent.
We've had some members that have been members since we opened. So the lifetime value of a customer here is really strong. We've got people that are joining our academy and signing up for 12 months of the academy as well, because they really want to elevate their game and put a lot of effort into that, which is great as well. So we've got members that just see it as their golf club and see it as that third space that they want to come. We've got members that come, and no more about 3, 4, maybe even 5 times a week, 3, 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And we'll come on a weekend, we'll come on lunchtime, and we'll come on an evening, and to do all things as well. It's really important. So a member would come to practice, but then also come and bring some mates and actually have a bit of a fun time.
Yeah, or come down to some of our summits that we've been hosting as well. We've just done a recent careers day for women through Golf Australia. So yeah, we're trying to be holistic, but I think the most important thing on our audience is we're listening. We just listen. We ask them questions, we listen to them, we talk to them every day, we gather that data, and that data fuels our position back to our audience. So yeah, we're pretty obsessed with trying to support and listen to the audience. It'd be a fair call, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and the same we would do that with the launch of GolfSpace Black. We'll have a wait list.
Yep.
And as we're designing GolfSpace Black, we'll be talking to that audience and asking exactly what, in terms of the amenities, and what would you really want in this club to make sure that you get the most out of your membership.
Yeah.
Beautiful, thank you. So do you anticipate a change to the current membership structures and pricing?
Good question. The membership with the mezzanine level upstairs, that will be available for our Elevate and Academy member, not our off-peak membership. But we won't be changing the pricing structure. It's working really well. We feel that the membership proposition in terms of value ratio to the available time that they can use at GolfSpace is really good.
Good balance.
Great feedback. Again, we've asked members and they said it's really great value.
Yeah, but just to be clear, we're looking at, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's, as you said, Elevate and Academy will be having access to the lounge upstairs.
Great, Thank you. So the opportunity is really clear as well as the vision, but someone is keen to understand your KPIs over the next 4 to 5 years across both Horizon 1 and 2. So what's the next step if these KPIs are reached?
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So what the KPIs are going to be to get to the full realization of the membership capacity of all our clubs and the membership cap, if you like. We can see what the revenue maxes out at per club. And we've got a very positive, strong EBITDA per club as well, around 25-30%.
Yeah, and then we don't want we want to talk too far down the track, but expansion of those clubs nationally into APAC is the next large phase. Obviously not for this capital raise. We won't be able to afford to be doing that, but we have a very clear focus on the expansion of the clubs into multi-venue play. We'll then have a centralized operations team from Marcoms, HR, finance, process, and then that will feed into the broader club base ostensibly. So, but just right now, we are very focused at a conservative level to reach those 2 milestones, make sure they're functioning really, really well to set up for that ostensibly national into APAC launch.
We've had a lot of interest from property groups to put a GolfSpace club in their premium A-grade commercial buildings, as well as some of the large shopping center opportunities as well. So we're being approached by property developers who want to activate their space with golf, entertainment and performance. So that's part of our KPIs and rollouts will be to pick the right locations and grow the clubs.
But we want to be really focused at the moment and I say this word conservative, but it's true. We have 2 core milestones we have to meet. That's the capital we're raising against those 2 milestones. Once they are reached, bang, game on again.
So this probably relates a little bit, but roughly when do you think you'll be looking to expand to Melbourne?
Well, it's a good question. We haven't made a decision. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Dan and Dean, but we haven't made a decision on the CBD location of GolfSpace Black. It may be Melbourne, or it may be Sydney, or maybe Brisbane. We actually have about 4 or 5 options. So once again, we're going to ask the audience. We're going to go national on that audience, get that qualitative research back in, and you will never launch somewhere where there isn't demand. So we're going to find the demand and make sure that demand is reached. We obviously have an incredibly strong, deep relationship with the Sydney, New South Wales audience by default of having one of the largest indoor spaces in the country, based in New South Wales, in Sydney. But we're talking to serious players in the development space, and they are throwing some beautiful assets at us at the moment. So watch this space. But we will be listening to you first based on that wait list, and building that wait list in those territories, and then landing in that location with the highest wait list. Would that be a fair call?
Yeah, and specifically on the Melbourne question, we've seen some indoor centres pop up. They seem very out of the inner city circle in Melbourne, very regional. Our model being premium indoor golf clubs will be city-based and in a city fringe area. So to answer that question, we want to be in Melbourne and Brisbane and
as quickly
as possible.
Yeah.
So there's been a few questions around what your investor rewards might look like. Does this look like discounts on membership, upgrades to membership? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, we're excited about this because we feel that as golfers and golf lovers, we all love money can't buy golf experiences. So there'll be a combination, Emily, of playing opportunities with PGA Golf Pros. There'll be clinics, boot camps, so that type of golf experience. And for our investors, we're also going to create an investor club so that we'll be inviting our investors to come on golf trips and golf events, that we'll be doing golf trips and maybe even going to golf events like Live and taking our investors on. So these will be part of the investor rewards. We're excited about what we're going to present.
And Dan, do you want to talk a little bit about the membership opportunities as well, just on pricing, just around that perks thing? There's a bit we were touching on.
Yeah, well, I mean, going back to audience and connecting is we'd love to get feedback from our audience around what kind of things you'd like to see. So that's something that we'll work on over the next week or so to get some of that feedback and hear from those that do use GolfSpace actively. You know, what kind of things would you like to see, and see if we can make some of those things a reality. But obviously, we've got a hugely supportive audience who are our customers, who said that they're keen to help us out on this journey, and we want to make sure that we can give something back to you, you know, in return for helping us grow and get to the next stage.
One of the exciting things as well, as we mentioned, we're working with the UTS and we're doing education. So a big rollout for us is educational content. But whilst the technology is amazing, a lot of golfers are like, well, what does it mean to me and where I am on my handicap and my journey? So part of the investor rewards are going to be giving beta versions and early access to our online golf tuition and content and programs, which is really exciting because that means that you can be the investors can be our case studies to do that as well. We'll be inviting golfers to come on and take part in some of the UTS programs that we're doing. So this 95% we want to elevate our game. Our investors are going to get early access to coming on these amazing programs with us.
So yeah, in terms of those perks, next week or so, we'll have a pretty formalized position, and then we'll be dropping that officially through Birchal.
Excuse me, I'm glad I was on mute for the sneezing. So in terms of your revenue at $2 million, is this just from memberships or is it from other forms of revenue? And also, how many members are an Elevate member?
Okay, great. So as we talked through in the pitch deck, what's strong about GolfSpace proposition is 50% of our revenue has consistently and will come from membership. Mm-hmm. The other revenue streams is casual visits, PAYG, that's the simulator bookings, as well as the driving range balls, buckets and top-up accounts, group and events, food and beverage, and PGA lessons programs. So that's for the whole suite of revenue. That answers that.
Yeah, and also we've set it up like that to de-risk. It's important that you're not relying on a single source income. So there is a de-risk play there, but we are going super hard at driving the MRR. The monthly recurring revenue, which is our core income driver, which sets us up to stabilize, to grow into multiple venues, is the great driver is through membership and through that loyalty.
Yeah, and as Dan mentioned, the Elevate membership is around the early mid 200s.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. So a few people have been seeing some similar spaces opening up or about to open in the same kind of area of the performance and entertainment world in a luxury setting. What plans do you have to keep ahead of any competition that might pop up? And you mentioned the study, but that seems to reinforce simulator golf in general rather than GolfSpace specific. Could you give a little bit more information there?
Yeah, sure. So the question there on, well, we get this asked a lot because we are seeing indoor centers, they're coming out, and like any, if you look at it like a gym as well, you can purchase the equipment, but it's the community that you're building and it's the service that you're delivering within that. So when we say performance, if we just carve each side, performance, we're going to ensure that all our members and visitors that come get not just access to the technology, but actually programs and the ability to understand how to use that technology to them. So that's going to be our differentiator. The members are going to have a portal and an app that will help them understand the technology, and those programs are going to be world leading. So
the other thing also is that we have access to on-course experiences. So we have really nice experiences that shift outside of our physical space, which other venues just don't have. We have that really sort of dialed, which is great.
Yeah. So as a member, we are a social golf club. So as a member, you can have your GA handicap at GolfSpace, which is really unique.
Yeah.
Part of our club concepts is that we take all of our members or give them the opportunity to play once a month at all the exclusive golf clubs that typically you can't get on. So we have access to that, which is really unique. Our PGA Pros is a differentiator that we'll have within each of our clubs, our events that we run. And then when it comes to entertainment, it's the way that we put on our indoor events and entertainment as well.
Yeah. And I think just to reiterate what Dean said is that the best analogy really is the gym space. One of the great analogies, I think, is that there's multiple gyms, but it's how those gyms deliver to market and engage with their customer base. Some have no one in that space at all, and they're just self-service. We're clearly not that. We're the complete opposite of that. So yeah, it's a terrific analogy. If you, from an investment standpoint, it's looking at that gym space, which I think we're landed. And we also have the benefit of being 2 and a bit years down. We've built a great loyal following. So first to market in the performance entertainment space is a great wall of defense, we think, as we grow.
And just on the commercial aspect of the relationship with UTS, yes, it's not necessarily about GolfSpace making golfers better, but the power that comes from being able to say this is research-backed golf programs that actually make you better unlocks an entire new world of potential e-commerce for us that we can sell to golfers globally. This is a research-backed driver course, putting course, swing speed. There's so many facets to the game of golf, and to be able to, with credibility and real bona fides, go, these programs make golfers of all levels better, and to be a company that truly is investing in helping golfers elevate their games is a really exciting opportunity for us down the road.
And the innovation that we've been doing, 12-week challenge, which is a really innovative program. So it's a 12-week challenge. We've partnered up with Bonnie Doon because we've got Bonnie Doon, which has been 3D rendered and on the simulator. So that's a 12-week challenge where we take you through all the elements of the game, and we end in the last 3 to 4 weeks helping you practice virtual Bonnie Doon before we take that group out to the real Bonnie Doon outdoors to see if you can shoot the round of your life. So these are just case studies of innovation that we're bringing in to really make, on that performance side, completely unique using the technology, and we're leading the way there.
Yeah.
And then in the entertainment, it's the premium space. It's how we, when GolfSpace Black launches, it's going to really push the boundaries of what an indoor golf club can be.
Brilliant, thank you. Will you be considering to upgrade your rental clubs for casual players?
Absolutely. That's part of our, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, we're starting to now get relationships with some of the golf manufacturers. We've been wanting to do that for a while, and as we're growing, we're going to start to elevate. A lot of the service offerings that we brought in will just continue to get better. I mean, we're 2.5 years in. This business has been bootstrapped from the beginning. We want to continue to just elevate our own game as well in terms of, as you can see from the marketing that we do and the service delivery that we've now want to give to all of our customers. Everything we want to upgrade to first class.
And the other thing, for people who've been through the venue, we've obviously opened a brand new retail space at the front with the Golf Society, with selling very premium quality luxury products. So that will transfer into the clubs themselves as well. So yeah.
Great. So currently, what are the biggest risks or challenges facing GolfSpace, and how do you plan to mitigate those?
What are the risks? The risks, it would be that there is competition that comes in, and we will continue to stay and innovate and continue to stay ahead of the competition. We did see early on that there might be some seasonality to indoor golf, whether there was the summer period. Our air conditioning has been fantastic last year. Right at the beginning, we've improved that so we can make it like an ice box. So when it's really hot, we will get it. It's a real benefit to come and come here. Right at the beginning, when we opened, it was raining a lot, and people were like, "Oh, this is a great place to come when it's raining." And we've gone through that as people now can see the benefit of coming to GolfSpace regardless of whether it's raining. So I think that the competition is, to answer that one, that we'll stay ahead of the game there.
And just, I think the other thing also, to go back to our core reason for being, the main reason for this is to service our community. We are a club, and we're going to be building out a multitude of clubs, and clubs are driven by one thing, their relationship with the customer. So that takes time, energy, and a skill set, and that is a huge differentiator for us. Absolutely massive. And also, we're anchored in memberships. Those other venues are not anchored in memberships, so some are, some aren't. It's a scattered market. We are focused on being anchored in a membership club environment and servicing those club members. So that's a huge differentiator for us, for sure.
Great. There's been a few questions around the TrackMan simulators in terms of how many do you currently have at your facility, how much they cost, have you had to repair any since opening, and would you look to include any other brand of simulators?
Dan?
So we've got an 8-lane TrackMan indoor driving range, and we have 12 TrackMan simulator bays. So that's 20 TrackMans in total, and we're planning to install 6 additional simulator lounge style bays upstairs. Would we consider another technology partner? We are extremely happy with TrackMan and the full suite that they offer. In terms of the software and hardware combination, it's the best in the market. So we are extremely happy with the partnership and relationship that we have with TrackMan. Since opening, we haven't had a single unit need to be repaired or taken off. There's maintenance and updates that need to occur throughout, the year, but there has been no issue with the reliability of the TrackMan units themselves.
We have putt view on our putting green, and we're also going to upgrade our putting area as well with Sam Putt Lab, so we have more tuition in our putting green area. Just to note as well, when we build the simulator lounge, why we're calling it simulator lounge is that we're going to use TrackMan IO, which is same company. TrackMan 4 sits behind the player, so in our bays, it's in a joinery cabinetry, and it tracks the ball from behind the player. Upstairs here on the mezzanine lounge, it's going to sit in the ceiling. TrackMan IO stands for indoor only, so it tracks the ball in a different way, equally as accurate. But that allows us to design the space different, which allows us to have couches, so it's a lot more social upstairs. So going back to, I alluded earlier in the presentation, why did we call it GolfSpace? It was a space that you can do all these unique things, even with the same technology. Your experience on the driving range is very different to your experience in the simulator bay, which would be very different to your experience in the simulator lounge. Which is the uniqueness that we've brought to our space. That's just wherever you are in your journey, and what you want within your hour at GolfSpace can be dramatically different in that one space, which is super unique at the moment.
And the line resolves to be the space that golf's been missing. That's probably what we've been talking about. Yeah.
Brilliant. So everyone's really excited for the plans to expand into other locations. Are there plans to expand into Western Sydney?
Yeah, look, there's 3 tiers. We can't talk too much about that because our job right now is milestone 1 and 2, but yes, 100%. We understand the demand is there, but we've got to do this conservatively. I keep saying this, and just reach those 2 milestones first, make sure everyone's happy, make sure the people who have backed us and invested in that milestone 1 and 2 are happy as well. And then, yeah, absolutely, as the capital begins to roll, we will 100% be going into those locations. So just so you know, the current format here, 1,500 square meter format, is really looking at kind of GolfSpace Black, which is a private members in the city locations across the country and internationally to APAC, and then the mid to larger formats, all the same approach, which is the GolfSpace Alexandria facility, will be dotted in inner city locations and western suburbs. Now, noting that locations like Parramatta, for example, are now considered the centre of Sydney, right? So from a geographical standpoint. So we will heavily focus our attention on technically large urban environments, which is the centre of Sydney right now, which is arguably Parramatta. So yes, to answer that question, 100%. But reiterating, we are focused on milestones 1 and 2 right now.
Great, thank you. So how do you intend to manage the risks around securing optimal venues, and assuming that you're leasing them, what are the key lease terms that you're looking for?
Well, we obviously won't go into formal legal terms around leasing, but we have some terrific relationships with the major property players in the Australian market, 2 of them ASX listed. We will go through the suite of assets that are presented. There's several, they're coming to us right now. We will just audit that market formally and do a proper tenant review on those assets being offered to us, and ensure that the rental position and importantly the capex that's put into the business to set up the locations is appropriate. You know, we need funds from those property players to invest in those assets, which they do, and they're highly supportive of that concept, but we then have to in turn have the cash flow to run those assets. So we will audit what comes in, and we've got great relationships and great access to those assets, and then choose them accordingly, and then the contracts and the terms will reflect the best market, ostensibly best market practice at that time.
Great. So the tier 1 expansion plans for the mezzanine, will you need to close the current facility to build this?
Not at all.
No.
No, that's a good thing. We will get cracking on the mezzanine expansion. It will not alter at all or disrupt. Maybe a little bit of noise on the down, but no, we'll minimal disruption.
Yeah.
We'll ensure that the flooring is in, and then the fit out will happen seamlessly.
Yeah. Nothing
Great.
would.
So if you do raise the funds that are required to hit your tier 1 and tier 2 milestones, will you have sufficient funds to expand beyond those milestones, or will further raises be necessary?
Good.
Yeah, good question.
When the offer document is available for everybody to download, in there you'll see specifically what we're going to use the funds for. So we are not going to be using all of the 2.25 all on construction and use of technology. There will be a lot of that towards marketing, a bit of working capital, and as I mentioned earlier as well, the upgrade to the education app. So there's a lot of usage of the funds in areas to help the growth. That'll all be available within the offer doc.
Great, thank you. So for your expansion plans, are they just national, or will they be international as well? And will it be through another membership like GolfSpace Black, or building larger scale locations like the Alexandria one?
Yep. So our expansion plan, our ambition is to grow right across Australia and then internationally. We can see GolfSpace going really well in the US, in the UK, Europe, and Asia.
Yeah.
There's no stopping where we will go. As we talked about, it's probably going to be based a lot around in the geographical areas that we pick around the property development and plays that we can make to make sure we get the right location and the right building.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. That answers it. Yeah. Yeah. We're super. Yeah. We have a desire to expand in a big
both
way.
clubs.
Both clubs, both formats, because they meet two very important demands that have been clear, and from the research from our audience is very clear to us. But yeah, I just want to keep coming back. We are conservative in our approach, but we are hungry for that expansion.
Brilliant. So what percentage of your current revenue is from non-member income, such as visitors, casual visitors, food, beverage, etc.?
50-50. 50% membership has been from the beginning. Yeah, 50% membership. The rest came from those sort of 5 areas of income, which is PGA coaching and programs, the bar and F&B, corporate booking and big groups, and the casual visits, as well as the memberships. That makes up our revenue mix.
And just to touch on that, to everyone listening, one of the we'll be listing that in our spend profile, where the money's going to be spent. Is one of the key hires that we're going to do is our corporate events person, who will be focused purely 100% on biz dev in corporate and the execution of that with our team internally. So that's a critical hire for us, and we're super excited about landing that, because we're getting inundated and it's quite hard to manage at the moment because of the volume of work we already have within the business. So yeah, that's going to be a critical hire, probably number 1 hire after this.
But the exciting thing is in our model is that the membership per club in all of our club models is that the membership will have the club in profit from membership alone. That's the exciting part. And if you take that as 50% of our income, that's where you can really look to see that it's an exciting proposition as we scale and roll out these clubs, because the membership alone gets the club into profitability.
Great. So generally the average minimum investment across the Birchal platform is $250. Have you given much thought to what the minimum investment will be for your offer when it opens?
We have, and $500 will be the minimum, and maximum is you can have a discussion with us as a wholesale sophisticated investor. You can talk to us about any level that you'd like to, and we've got an interesting conversation to have there with sophisticated and wholesale investors around our options and warrants, which will give today's valuation. We could lock that in for the next 3 years, which is a very compelling incentive to offer.
Do you want to just explain that again quickly, just what the warrant structure is again?
Yeah, sure. So when we launch our offer when it's publicly available. The valuation of the company and the price per share will be available. You can read the offer document. For wholesale and sophisticated investors, we're offering the day's valuation for the next 3 years so that you can watch and see how the company performs. And in 3 years' time, we would have built the mezzanine. We would have got GolfSpace Black and looking at our second, maybe third venue. That investor then has the ability to follow on at a 1-for-1 investment, which I think is really exciting.
Amazing. So with a large proportion of your memberships being beginner to intermediate players, are there plans to explore additional training or coaching alternatives such as interactive training videos available to view during your GolfSpace session?
100%. Yeah. So one of the big pieces of investment will be the development of our own proprietary training programs of the technology. So that is once again a big differentiator. So yes, the answer is 100%.
Well, I'd like to add to this. I mean, from day one, we have been receiving R&D government backing for the innovation of the design of the facility. But what we've been working towards in the background, which is not mentioned a lot, is AI and using AI and working with the UTS to develop AI virtual coaching. We can't say too much because we're working in the background, but if you can understand how exciting this is, I see a world where a golfer would be in a simulator bay. There will be an iPad there and they'll be hitting a few shots. And our AI virtual coach will be saying, let's have a look at your swing and let's see what's going on. And then the virtual coach will be giving you guidance as to what you should be doing to improve your ball striking, which I think is amazing. Yeah. And then on the iPad, there'll be a course that you should be able to do as well. So the world that we see in innovation is quite exciting.
Yeah. And we want to have that backed by formal academic PhD rigorous research, hence the partnership with UTS. Like it's got to be backed by factual information. It can't be just us having this brainstorm idea. It's got to be seriously and rigorously tested against the market.
Yeah, we're super proud. We really want people to get better. I myself spent years trying to get my game better. I'm just starting to realize how what a gift it will be if we can really help people understand this technology, which is amazing, but really make benefits on the golf course.
Speaking of tech, will the business model always focus on providing solutions for in-person services, or will you be considering adding online expansions that aren't location dependent and attract a larger market share?
That's the
that goes on from that as well. Yeah. We didn't want to mention it in this milestone because we do want to be focused on what that is, but there is future thinking and innovation into providing golf education content that goes beyond. So you could be in Perth, you could be in Las Vegas, it could be anywhere, and you can access our online content, which helps you understand the technology and how you can use it to improve your game.
And we have to be cautious. We're being a little bit cautious here is because we are working on stuff right now. That is the research and development work with government, and the grants that the company receives is focused on those areas. So yes, it's formal, it's happening, it takes time. But yes, one of the major cornerstones of the business over the next 5 years is to have an always on digital global position from an education standpoint. So I hope that's clear, but it's being worked on now. It takes time and it needs to be backed formally as well with actual research. So when we go to market, we can substantiate the reason we go to market. Often people will go to market with a top line piece. We're seeing a lot in that in AI at the moment. Those companies disappear very quickly. We're being, once again, slightly conservative and using research to back the position of our education programs, which will land in the digital environment with formal backing from research.
And everything that we do, as well as we hope everyone can see from the brand and how much we put into the brand experience. Even on the education courses, there will be 4K cinematography, beautifully executed education program, a bit like masterclass.com that you would see. Our vision is that everything will be ultra premium in that space, which is not out there at the moment. It's a lot of subjective golf coaching, and we want to really improve that.
Brilliant. Unfortunately, we have run out of time today, and I know there are a lot of questions that we didn't get to today. There were a lot of questions, which is awesome. So hopefully we can organize a second webinar with the team. We'll let everybody know when that will be. If you do want to share this with anybody, a recording will be sent around so that you are welcome to share it with anybody that you think might be interested or might have missed it. And if you do have any pressing questions, you can always reach out to the team at GolfSpace via their profile on the Birchal platform. There is a message button, so you can directly message the team at GolfSpace. But thank you so much for everybody.
Thank you,
for
everybody.
attendance.
Yep.
And
Thanks.
all the amazing questions. It's very exciting to see how enthusiastic everybody is about the offer.
Yeah, please reach out with any questions. We'd love to answer anything, but thank you for your time. Thanks for your enthusiasm behind it. It's really pleasing to see so much enthusiasm, which is fueling us as well. It's making us really enjoy this this period.
Yeah, and I think Dan can talk on behalf of the team, can't you? In the venue itself, we're super pumped, aren't we?
Yeah,
There's a big buzz. So yeah, exciting things to come. So thank you for those that have already been super positive in venue. And we can't wait to have so many more of you.
yeah. Thanks for hosting.
Enjoy the journey.
Yeah, thanks Emily.
Thanks for hosting. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it very much.
My pleasure. Chat soon.
All right. See
Thanks,
you, everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you. Bye.